What is going on, you guys? It's that time again for another Player Error project. This time we're going to be doing Mr. Dan Pastorini, who is a legend in the Houston area, where I'm originally from. Um, Back in my neck of the woods, he is looked very, very highly upon. And he played for the Oilers for a long, long time. He was drafted in the 1971 draft, and at the time they were calling that the year of the quarterback. That year, he was drafted behind Jim Plunkett and Archie Manning. So Plunkett, Archie Manning, and Dan Pastorini were kind of the three big quarterbacks at the time. And all three really went on to have really, really good careers. And I would say all three of them are definitely in the Hall of Very Good, but definitely not Hall of Famers. Mr. Pastorini is a tough, tough, tough SOB. He was known to play with broken ribs and even a punctured lung at one time, and he was I guess, the originator, kind of the first guy to ever play a game with a flak jacket that kind of protects your ribs and all that stuff. So just an absolute tough as nails football player. Played 12 seasons, most of that with the Houston Oilers. He was traded in 1980 to the Oakland Raiders for Ken Stabler. And what was funny was at the time they said that they were trading him to the Raiders to get younger, but they traded him for Ken Stabler, who was 3 years older than him. And a lot of that was, I think, Bud Adams and him had some beef because Bum Phillips, who was the coach at the time, really enjoyed Pastorini, and Pastorini really enjoyed Coach Phillips. After that, after the Raiders, he went to the Raiders, Eagles, and Rams, and kind of in a 3-year time span, and all of that is with him not playing in the league at all in 1982. Off the field, I would say he's definitely an alpha male, if you will. He was into NHRA drag racing, and he actually was pretty successful there. Not great, but definitely successful. I think he won 5 or 6 races, drag races. I went on to do some acting. He did some acting in a TV show called Voyagers, I believe it was called. And then he even posed in Playgirl in 1980, posed nude in Playgirl in 1980, and then went on to marry a playmate for quite a while. So definitely an alpha male for sure. He wrote a book called Taking Flak, My Life in the Fast Lane, which I read about 3 years ago. It's a pretty good book, man. It really is. Like, I think sometimes people associate with it, is this going to be a good book, with how great the player was? And I think that just isn't the case. This book was written extremely well, and it just goes on to show you just how, I guess, masculine and alpha this dude was on and off the field. He was kind of a shot caller there in Houston for quite a while. Just a great career overall. He was only selected to one Pro Bowl, and that was in 1975. And then he won a Super Bowl with the Raiders when he was with them for that little stint. But he was on the bench. Jim Plunkett was on the field. So a lot of people don't associate that Super Bowl victory with Dan Pastorini, rightfully so. Great TTMer. He's been an absolute great TTMer for a very, very long time. So we'll turn it around. We'll talk about his TTM habits and show off some cards. He has a pretty nice size player era set. So let's get to the cards. So we'll start things off with his 1972 Topps rookie card. I personally think this rookie is super cool. I have a couple of these, I think 3 or 4 of them actually, and this was the only one I could find. But super cool with the Love You Blue inscription and his time with the Oilers there. So super nice. Moving down to his 73, his second year card. He was still pretty clean cut fella. And then we'll get into some duplications here. Starting to look a little shaggy, like the 70s became. And you probably can hear my dog going to town in the background on the water. Super Bowl inscription, which, like I said on the intro, was with his time with the Raiders, which he's not exactly known for. He was on the bench. He didn't play any significant role whatsoever in that Super Bowl. But still cool inscription nonetheless. You can see a little battle damage here in the top right corner. And then here is his last player era card with the Raiders, the 1980 Topps. And then we talked a little bit about his NHRA career after his NFL career that he got into. So I wanted to get that. Definitely not player era, but I think if you're doing a Dan Pastorini set or player era run or whatever, very cool piece to have at the end. And then this is definitely not player era, but I love this inscription. It says, "I played in the eighth wonder of the world," which when the Astrodome in Houston, Texas was built, that's what a lot of people were calling it, the eighth wonder of the world. So, pardon the glare, but there is the Dan Pastorini player era set. And I think I've showed this before. This is how I complete these non-Hall of Fame player eras. This is what I do. I put them in one of these little holders. I make this extremely nice, fancy label, and I put the date that I completed it. And then I put all the cards in here and just put them in the monster, just like that. So what I'm going to do eventually is get a label maker, and I'll put like Dan Pastorini right here. So when you pull out a drawer, you can just see whose player era that is. So there we go. I appreciate y'all watching. As always, till next time, adios. Be safe. Bye-bye. Toodles.